Wherever you are, maybe you're seated or lying on your back. Take a few moments to notice your breath. Notice the quality of your breath. Without trying to change or adjust anything. Let your breath be just as it is. As you breathe in this way, take note if there's anything you could do differently to make your breath more even and smooth. And make those adjustments. In life, we first must understand a situation before we can make actions to change it. Just as you do that off your mat, I invite you to bring that principle to your practice. First, pausing and analyzing your situation, and then make adjustments to make your breath, your pose, your body move in ways that are in line with what feels good to you. Yoga is all about self-regulation, self-adjustment, working on you. If you're seated, come to lying on your mat. Take a moment to adjust to this orientation, and then gently hug both knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a nice hug. Take a moment here in stillness. I want you to think about what you need this morning. What would make your practice? Set that as your intention. And wherever way we go, whatever way we move, come back to your intention and move in alignment with that. Making any adjustments or modifications to get what you need. This is all about you. Gently bring your hands down by your hips and slowly extend your feet overhead. Take a moment. Slowly begin to point and flex your toes. Rotate your ankles in one direction. And then the opposite direction. And come back to stillness. Gently bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and slowly peel your legs apart from each other. You're gonna see if you can come all the way down onto your elbows, like your elbows are little kickstands for your legs. Let your legs rest in the palms of your hands. Take a few breaths here. Slowly close your legs together. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Taking a momentary pause here. And when you're ready, slowly make your way up to a seat. Just staying there for a moment too. We're going to come onto our hands and our knees. Coming into tabletop. Take a moment to adjust. Spread your fingers wide. Let your wrists be in line with your shoulders. Knees are in line with your hips. Take a breath here. And then gently begin to look over your right hip. Making a slight lateral side bend here. Come back to center. Gaze over your left hip. And come back to center. Look over towards your right. Back to center. Over towards your left. And back to center and stay. Take a breath here. Keeping your fingers spread wide, tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Come into down dog. Take a moment here to explore your dog. Maybe pedal your feet. Maybe come up onto your tippy toes. Again, honoring what you need for your practice. And when you're there, find some stillness. Come back to your breath. Slowly bring yourself forward to high plank. Go ahead and lower your knees if you'd like. Take a breath here, pressing down through your palms. Let your shoulders melt away from each other. Engage your core and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Take a breath. Press down through the tops of your feet. Slowly lift your heart off the mat. Come into cobra. Take a breath here. Lower your heart down. Press yourself back to child's pose. Let your knees come out wide. Big toes touch. Sink your hips back. Forehead rests on the mat. Take a breath here. Slowly make your way back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Come back to your down dog. Take a breath here. Come forward to high plank, lowering your knees if you'd like. Engage your core. Slowly lower all the way down. Untuck your toes. Press down through the tops of your feet. Lift your heart off the mat. Come back to cobra. Lower your heart down. Press yourself back to your child's pose. Knees wide or knees together. Let your forehead rest on the mat. Take a moment here. Slowly make your way back to tabletop. Adjust your hands. Point your fingers towards the top of your mat. Tuck your toes under. Come back to down dog. We're just staying here for a pause. Gaze up at your hands. Step or float to the top of your mat and fold forward. Keeping a slight bend in your knees. Bring your hands to your shins. Find a halfway lift. And slowly fold forward. Inhale, circle, sweep arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Slowly separate your feet to hip distance, making any adjustments you need, checking in with your stance, checking if your two fists can go between your two big toe knuckles. That's your hip distance. And then come back up to your mountain pose. Take a breath here. Inhale, slowly lift your right arm overhead. Let that right shoulder melt away from your ear. Inhale, lengthen through your crown. And on your exhale, slowly begin to tilt over towards the left. Take a few deep breaths here. Slowly come back to center. Lower your right hand down. Inhale, lift your left arm overhead. Let that shoulder melt away from your ear. Lengthen through your crown and slowly begin to tilt over towards the right. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Gently come back to center. Lower your left hand down. Take a breath here. You might want to walk to the middle of your mat if you don't have a lot of space around you. Totally your choice, but we're going to go into our balancing pose, so you might need some more space. So take your stance here. Let your feet feel rooted down on the mat. Take a breath. Shift your weight into your left foot. Slowly begin to draw your right knee in towards your chest. Take a breath. Bring your hands to heart center. Hug your hips in. As you're balancing here, find a focal point or your drishti to keep your gaze. That will help you keep your balance. Press down through that left foot. Slowly begin to hinge forward. Kick your right foot behind you. Toes and knee face the mat. Your hip stays nice and closed. Lift that heel high in the air. Your hands can stay here at heart center, Or slowly extend them out, bringing them in line with your ears. Coming into your warrior 3. Feel empowered to adjust in any way you need. Take a few more breaths and slowly begin to lower your fingertips to the mat as you kick your right foot high in the air, finding standing split. Take a few breaths here. Slowly lower your right foot down, come into a forward fold. Take a few breaths. Slowly bring your hands to your shins. Find your halfway lift and fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take a few breaths. Shift your weight to your right foot. Slowly draw your left knee in towards your chest. Take a breath here. Find your drishti, your focal point. Hug your hips in, engage your core. Feel rooted down through your right foot. And slowly hinge forward. Kick that left foot behind you. Keep your hip closed. Toes and knee are pointing towards the mat. You may keep your hands here at heart center or extend them out. Finding flight here in your warrior 3. Reaching far in front of you with your fingertips. Feel your power here. Stay for one more breath. Slowly lower your fingertips to the mat. Kick your left leg high in the air. Come into your standing split. Take a few breaths. Slowly lower that left foot down. Come into your forward fold. Take a breath here. Bring your hands to your shins. Find your halfway lift. And fold. Inhale, circle sweep arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Maybe close your eyes. Take a moment to notice your body, your breath. Is there any area that you could just let go a little bit to adjust, to feel more in line with yourself? Step your feet wide, coming into a wide-legged stance. Bring your heels in towards each other, toes point out wide. Your hands can stay here at heart center. Take a breath here, and then slowly begin to sink your hips back, coming in to goddess pose, your goddess legs, keeping your back nice and flat. You can keep your hands here at heart center or let your arms extend out to goalposts. Take a few breaths here. Feel your goddess power and energy. Always available to tap into that divine energy. slowly begin to straighten your legs. Lower your hands down by your hips. Take a breath. Slowly begin to bend your knees, sink your hips back. Bring your arms back up to goddess arms. Coming back in. You can lower your hips if you want to make this more intense, or you can lift your hips up and straighten your legs to make it less intense. Honor your choice. Take a few breaths. Lower your hands down to your hips. Slowly straighten your legs. Heel toe your feet to touch. And if you're not at the top of your mat, walk up to the top of your mat. Take a breath here. Lower your hands down by your hips. Slowly begin to lift your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Take a breath here in down dog. You might always come out of down dog and come into tabletop or child's pose if you need. Push forward to plank, lower your knees if you like, and slowly lower all the way down to the mat, coming onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Slowly begin to slide your arms straight out in front of you. Again, you're going to need a little room, so you might need to adjust your face down on your belly. Your arms are extended straight out in front of you, palms face down. Slowly roll on to your right side. Stack your hips. Your head can rest on your arm. Your left hand can be a little kickstand. Just let it rest in front of you. Take a moment here. And then slowly bend your left knee. Let it come out in front of you like you're in a sleeping pose. Take a breath here. Gently begin to lift and lower your left leg. Lifting it up, lowering it down. Moving with your breath at your pace. Next time you lift it, keep it lifted, and then just start to sway it back and forth like you're swimming and you're kicking your foot through the water. Back and forth. And then when it comes back, let it bend. Let your left hand come around and grab for the top of your right foot. Take a breath. Feeling that stretch in your left quad. Take one more breath here. Gently extend your right leg out, coming on to the inside edge of your foot. Your right leg is straight. Take a breath. You may stay right here, or you can find a twist. We're going to extend our left arm out to the side and slowly drop our right shoulder back, keeping our gaze straight ahead. Take a breath here. Notice your pose. Notice how you feel in this pose. If you find any discomfort, see if you can adjust to make it accessible for you. And try to relax into this pose. letting go, using your breath to soften and release. Stay for 2 more breaths. Gently release your left foot. Bring your left arm back out overhead like it's your pillow for your head. Bring your right leg on top of your left. Slowly make your way back onto your belly. Extend that left arm straight out in front of you. Slowly roll onto your left hip. Keep your right leg on top of your left leg. Your right hand is your kickstand this time. Take a moment here and then gently bend your right knee. Let your right knee come out in front like you're in that sleeping, resting pose. And then slowly begin to lift and lower your left leg. Take a few breaths. Move at your pace. And on your next lift, keep it lifted and then take that sway back and forth with your leg. Let your leg come back and bend. Your heel comes towards your glute. Take your right hand around, grab for the top of your left foot. Take a breath. Slowly extend your right leg out to the side, coming on to the inside of your foot. Take a breath here. So your right leg is a kickstand. You're in a very awkward looking pose. Embrace it, make any changes you need. And then if you'd like to take your twist, let your left arm come out to the side and lower your right shoulder down. Take a breath here. See if you can find more ease in this pose by adjusting, honoring your body. If it feels uncomfortable, feel free to come out of this pose and just rest on your belly in crocodile. Take one more breath here. Release your foot, come back onto your left side. Left arm extends out overhead. Let your right leg stack on top of your left. Take a moment here and then lower down onto your belly. Stack your hands on top of each other. Take a rest here in crocodile. And moving in any way that feels good for you, find yourself onto your back. Maybe that's just flipping over like a pancake. Maybe you want to come through child's pose and then come to a lying down position. Whatever feels good for your body. When you get to your back, gently hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe take a rock from side to side, or maybe stay in stillness. Take a few breaths here. At this time, I invite you to do any pose you would like to complete your practice. And when you're ready, make your way into your shavasana. Whether that's lying on your back, your side, take a pose that will allow you to fully relax. Making any adjustments to make yourself comfortable. Come back to your breath. You've put in the work. You've moved your body. Now all you need to do is relax and breathe. Let everything else wash away. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Invite movement into your body. Gently make your way onto one side. Take a rest here. And slowly make your way up to your seated position. Close your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a moment to honor yourself for showing up for your practice. Yoga is a journey of ourselves. Each time we come to our mat, we learn how to better move and care for our bodies, how to connect deeper with our breath, and to truly understand who we are. Give yourself permission to always course correct and adjust when something doesn't feel quite right. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.